Hello folks, it's Paul here once again with the next installment in my video about making a very high quality hookah hose. And now that I have received my delivery of the silicone hose that I'm going to be using for the core, I'm going to go over the material that I'm going to wrap around the outside. What I'm going to be using, eventually, is this. This is kangaroo leather. This is one of the most expensive, but frankly one of the best leathers in the world. It smells so beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it down into lace, like this, which I will show you the process of at a later date. It uses a specialized tool known as a strander, and I'm going to be dyeing these laces different colors based on patterns that I want. But I also wanted to show you a bit of the braiding techniques that I'm going to be using before I actually before I use this very expensive material. So in place of that, I'm going to be using this. This is paracord. I'm going to be using black and red because why not? Black and red is a cool color combination. This is a piece that I've already pulled the center out of, but the way that it comes is like this. I use paracord for a lot of different projects, so I buy a lot of it at a time. I've got multiple very large spools of this stuff, and I've cut off 18 pieces, split 50-50, black and red, that are 1.5 times the length of the hose. The reason for that is because when you braid, you're actually laying pieces over other pieces, and you lose a whole bunch of length because of the spirals and because you're overlapping. So I need 18 pieces that are 1.5 times the length of the hose. There are some calculations that go into figuring out how many strands you need based on the width of the line and the circumference and length of the hose core, but that's, you know what, I'll detail that later. Right now I just want to show you part of the process for this. So, what we have to do is take the paracord, which is actually the type of cord that's used to connect parachutes to harnesses for paratroopers and skydivers and things like that. And on the inside you'll find these strands, which are very strong for their size, but they kind of get in the way when braiding because it makes the strand round. And what we want to do is pull these out, which is kind of a tedious task and produces a lot of trash. So we're left with all these strands, which I can use for other things like binding the lace together, and this, which is the jacket or sleeve around the outside of the paracord, which actually sits flat now, which reacts when braiding kind of like leather lace. It doesn't have all that much stretch to it. It lays nice and flat, and it's very washable and very durable. So I'm going to do this to 17 more strands, and then I'm going to show you guys some of the braiding process. And I'll be back with that in a little bit. Okay, on to the next step. So, because this is basically a test hose before I build the real one, I am going to be using the core from an old washable hose that I mentioned in a previous video. So, the first step after pulling all the cores is separating the lines and laying them out and getting them ready. And what I use for this is some electrical tape. It is a wonderfully useful tool in stuff like this. You just need a little bit of a strip. Snap that off, and place it down. Yes, it's very sticky. So what you're going to be doing here is taking your strands and laying them at an angle. I probably don't need a very big angle because I have a lot of strands here. And basically you're trying to establish the angle that you're going to be using during the braiding. And you can line up the ends, and the angle will get corrected a little bit once you actually start braiding and pulling your lines. And you'll see that as this comes together. That's pretty much it. I mean, I've got all of them there, right? 3, 6, 9, yep. All right. So, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our hose, we're going to place, excuse me while I bump the camera, the hose on this little tab right here, and we're going to wrap. And if I space this out properly, the last line here should just about line up. I hope you guys can see that with the first line. They should kind of match right up next to each other. And then I'm going to take the rest of this, pull it down fairly tight, and wrap it around to lock it down. Now I have to repeat that with the other color angled in the other direction, well actually I guess the other direction, so that the braid can start. And I will do that now. So what we're left with here is a big mess of lines running in various directions, and now we're going to start the braiding process, which is going to be a little hard with a camera and a microphone and a hookah right in my face. But anyways, all we're going to start with is an over-under pattern. So we're just going to take the lines that run to the left, pass them over the lines that run to the right, and you go 1 over, and under. Let's see. This is a very time-consuming and fiddly process. You don't need to worry about anything being tight yet because there's no tension on these lines. So if you try to pull them too hard, they're just going to pull out from underneath the electrical tape, and that would be messy and unpleasant, and you'd have to start over. So don't do that if you're trying this at home. All right, let's see. Over. Over. And I'm going to speed this process up so you guys don't have to sit here and suffer with me. Also, it's very, very warm because I don't have my air conditioning on, because otherwise you guys wouldn't be able to hear me. And that wouldn't be fun. Oh, I guess that would be plenty fun, because then you wouldn't have to listen to me. Okay, so we've got our first round of passes, and what this results in is all the black lines, which I now need to untangle, are on top and running in one direction. And this is very annoying, because everything gets all twisted up. What you should do is actually clamp this into a vise so you can have everything stable, but I don't have a bench vise at home or anything like that, so I'm going to have to improvise a little bit. Let's see. Over. Alright, excuse me for a second, I'm going to pull this out of camera. Okay, I'm back. All the lines that run to the right are running to the right, and now we're going to start doing our actual braiding. So, this is unpleasant. Over, under, over, under, over. Okay, so what I've done here is taken the black lines one by one, run them over under the red lines in order, alternating each time to create this pattern, this weave, this, I guess, checker pattern. So what you've got is your red lines on the right in your right hand and the black lines on the left in your left hand, and you'll be taking the one farthest back here, which is the next one in this sequence. You flip that to the other side around the back, and then you have to kind of anticipate where you're going with this. So you want to go opposite to the line that has already been run. So this one, the red goes over, so what you want to do is have the black going over, so you reach over this one. Next line, the black goes over, so you want to go under. So you pass that over your hand. And then just alternate back and forth. Make sure that you're not skipping any lines as well. And make sure you have them in the right order. And now that you have your hand all the way through here, underneath the lines that you need to run under, you grab the black line and wrap it through. So you then take what is now a twisted up line, pull it all the way to the left, and you've created another pass. At this point, you want to take your red lines and pull them back so that they actually lay a little flatter. I mean, you're not trying to put in a lot of tension. You're just trying to establish the angle of the braid. And that's pretty much it. So then you go to the other side, and you pass the red over under the black. So over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. And you take the last red, which is this guy, pass it around, bring it in between all these black lines, straighten everything out again, and continue to do that. Now I'm going to turn my air conditioning back on because it is 90 degrees here in Los Angeles, regardless of the fact that winter is right around the corner. And I'm going to continue down the line. I may change up the braiding to make it a little more flourishy, but if you want to learn about different braiding patterns, I suggest checking out some other YouTube videos on braiding paracord. You can learn some really cool stuff that I honestly just don't have the time and energy to go over here. So I'm going to continue down the line, tighten this up, and then I'll show you the results.